So SmackDown is a weird show, right? That's not just me. This week's especially had me completely confounded. Is that a word? No, that's not, but I made it up, so we keep on going. I mean, some of the stuff with Drew McIntyre and some of the stuff with Giulia, it made me raise an eyebrow, and now I'm worried I've just turned into a bit of an idiot. Not turned into, I've been an idiot for the last 30 years or so. Hello, welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need. This is the finger of power, so if I am wrong, you get mad at my finger and not at me, and no one has ever said that sentence. But yes, SmackDown is in the books. Let's give the good bits an up, bad bits a down. Right, so Cody Rhodes came out first because of course he had beaten Drew McIntyre at Saturday Night's main event, and that freaked me out. Saturday Night main event feels like it happened 78 years ago, which may tie into other issues I do not know. Now, Rhodes didn't even care that he had retained his title by using the belt, because who brought that championship into the ring to begin with? It was Drew McIntyre, so essentially Cody had become Drew's dad here, and he was teaching him a lesson. Also in the past, Cody hasn't used such weapons like when he fought John Cena, so he has learned from his mistakes. Now, I did like this. When it comes to wrestling lore, as Kevin Owens would tell us all the time, if we do not use the past to influence the present, then why the flub are we here to begin with? He also called Drew McIntyre the most self-absorbed wrestler ever who keeps getting himself into trouble, so he should go and look into the mirror and realize he is to blame, when he was actually going to go sit with the fans because he wanted to watch an episode of SmackDown. I was like, man, if that is the follow-up for our world champion, after SNME, I'm going to have a bit of a breakdown. But instead, Aleister Black's music hit. He came out with Zelina, who is no longer Vega. We've lost her last name. And they were basically like, Cody, we do not like you. I do have to put one on the crying counter because Black was so happy he set Damian Priest on fire. You can't say that. And basically, they both have chips on their shoulder. Cody has a championship on his, so they want with that belt. Zelina then slapped him because she's watched wrestling before, and she knows, even though they've done nothing to deserve a title shot, or at least a shot at Cody, the best way to get into a wrestler's head is by slapping him. She was right as well, because just as they were about to fight, Nick Aldis came out. He was like, guys, I'm so happy. You have had this shindig at the start of my show, because don't tell anyone, but I have no main event, so now I'm going to put you in the last match. Aleister versus Cody. Now, this was a little bit transparent to me. It kind of felt like the creative team this week had gone, we need to do something new, so somebody come up with something new. But at the same time, it was something new, and it did have me intrigued. I was like, how is this going to end? As it turned out, I wasn't going to like it. But I didn't know that at the start of SmackDown, so I'm giving it up. Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Jade Cargill were all then shown arriving at the building, so we should find them all. I mean, the first segment had happened, and you couldn't turn up to work on time. Somebody needs a suspension of pay. Ilja Dragunov also was walking to the ring for his US title challenge when Tonga just looked at him, because wrestlers like doing that. And yes, Ilja was like, who wants to challenge me? And out came DIY. Tommaso Ciampa was like, I am not a jackass. I should have got the shot last week. When Ilja, in the kind of non-babyface way, although he's not a traditional babyface, went, I will not fight you, bald man. I will fight the one with hair. That's right, he was pointing at Johnny Gargano. Now, surely the plan here was to try and kill each other, because they were booting each other so hard in the face, I thought John Travolta and Nicolas Cage was going to turn up. And this behind-the-head super kick that Johnny Gargano gave to Ilja Dragunov, has anyone seen Ilja today? Because again, his face may be off. We also saw a flipping Poison Rana, which you never see in WWE, so that got me excited. And they were both trying to do dives, and they were cutting off dives, and Ilja Dragunov kept using his head, and it felt like he was actually headbutting people, because he's totally nuts. Honestly, this felt like nothing else on the show, which is a massively good thing. And if you want to be a total nerd, you could even say, oh my gosh, Johnny Gargano's gone back to his PWG days. Again, that's a wild exaggeration, but it's also kind of true. Gargano even hit one final beat at one point, but Dragunov did kick out, and I was assuming that Tommaso Ciampa was going to run him, but he didn't, and instead poor Candice around the outside was having a meltdown, when eventually they did punch each other in the face some more. We got a big old superplex. Ilja Dragunov hit the H-bomb, and he got the 1-2-3. You just have to give a round of applause for these US title open challenges. If we include the Sami Zayn run and we push it into the Dragunov run, this is just like, I don't want to say it's an all-timer, but it's headed in that direction, because now you can set your watch by this. If you know the United States Championship is being defended, sit down, watch it, you have a good time. Speaking of Sami Zayn, though, right after this, he was indeed talking to Nick Aldis, saying, Nick, you need to let me go out there for Fenix versus Talla. I'm the tallest Tonga, because of the MFTs. And Nick was like, no, my dear boy, you're not medically cleared, so you're not allowed. So Nick Aldis needs to be investigated. Why on earth would you allow all the MFTs to be out there every single week, but you don't do anything when you have a hero here in Sami Zayn that wants to balance the books, and you say no? R-Truth then turned up as well because he wants to be in the John Cena tournament, and he said to Nick Aldis, "Your balls are in my hand." And Aldis was like, "Well, my balls don't need to be in your hands. I got that the one way round because you're already in the tournament, Truth." And Truth was like, "Great, because I didn't really want my balls to be in your hand." Now listen, I am happy our Truth is in this, but it means my prediction for this thing is totally incorrect, especially because we had 2 other matches announced on this evening, and they confused me even more. The Miz versus Jey Uso is happening on Raw, and it's LA Knight versus a mystery person. And look, the mystery person is going to be Joe Hendry, or it's going to be Matt Cardona, and that I did advocate for. But at the moment, there are some random-ass names in this thing, but we haven't even kicked off yet, so we wait and see. Gargano was then totally furious that he had lost. Him and Tommaso Ciampa were like, "No, how are we ever going to recover?" When Frexin walked in, they were like, "You lost." I was like, "Nathan Frazier, you got to shut up, man. You lost last week." Point is, they're now going to start a feud. So the SmackDown Tag Team division, well, I'm just going to repeat what I said at the start. It's in a very strange place. However, I really did like what Jade Cargill did after this, because sometimes you just have to play to people's strengths or realize that less is more. Like, not every match needs to go 47 minutes long. Not every promo needs to be 10 years. She came out and she said, "Did you see what I did to Tiffany Stratton, women's locker room? Well, I can do that to all of you because I'm still that bitch." She threw the microphone on the floor and she left. That's when I realized she had the biggest shoes in the world on. Of course, as she was leaving, out came Alexa and Charlotte looked at Jade, so Jade looked at Charlotte, because that's what all wrestlers like to do. And we should get to that at some point, but it shouldn't be any time soon. But I'm going to give it an up. Like, Jade absolutely needs a proper feud sooner rather than later. But she said her thing. She felt like a tough guy. No notes. Do more of that. Chelsea Green was then warming up for her US title match with Giulia later when Meechin and B-Fab walked in. I was like, wow, we should get scientists to study this, because clearly they fell into a time machine and they went back to June. They were basically going to insult her, so Chelsea was like, "I don't care what you say, because I am the greatest women's champion on this brand." When, of course, Jade Cargill was behind her. Bless Chelsea. She will sell anything. She was so scared she ran away. Jade then tried to push B-Fab out the way, but B-Fab was like, "Man, nobody's going to push me out the way." So now they're now they're having a match next week. I mean, I suppose if you lived in the wrestling world and somebody pushed you, you would want to have a match. I don't mind this at all. Quite like B-Fab, but Jade Cargill should squash her, and that should basically be her remit for a good few weeks. But I do have a down because it was Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax, and you know my pet peeve with this. I mean, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are not only the women's tag team champions, but they have a feud right now with the Kabuki Warriors, and Asuka and Kairi Sane were also going to be on the show in around about 12 minutes. You just don't need to muddy the waters. These women's championships, tag team titles, are absolutely great when they are used correctly. But now we just have a bunch of people moving around, and I kind of feel like I've seen Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax 42,967 times, and I enjoy both of them. But it did make me feel a little bit like I was experiencing Groundhog Day. Not with Bill Murray. I just think WWE needs to get through a week when Nia Jax doesn't randomly turn up and kick somebody's ass. And the match was perfectly fine. But of course, because Alexa Bliss was on the outside, of all the people, Lash Legend turned up from NXT. She started to strangle her, quite understandably. Charlotte was worried about her friend, or ally of convenience, so Nia Jax hit her with the Annihilator. 1, 2, 3. So now we have another tag team title program, but we've already got one tag team title program. Listen, I like Lash Legend. I think she's great. I think she's going to do awesome on SmackDown, but the commentators just went way too far here. Again, Michael Cole, one of the best of all time. Corey Graves, an absolutely underrated gem that doesn't get his flowers. They're like, "Oh man, the SmackDown scene is going to change forever. Oh, Lash Legend, she's so powerful. Lash Legend, I'm going to buy her a Christmas present. Boy, do I love Lash Legend." It's like, yes, okay, you need to turn it down a bit. Let her actions do the talking. Also just feels like a really lame way to reintroduce someone to the main roster. We'll put her with the person that's already been established on SmackDown. It's like what we used to do with Dolph Ziggler back in the day. Every single person from NXT had to go through Dolph Ziggler. So yeah, Nia Jax versus Charlotte Flair in terms of a wrestling contest was enjoyable enough, but everything around it, I do have to give it a down. And it's nothing on the talent, right? Their best job possible, and they are really good. It didn't do anything for me, okay? I don't believe it worked. We had a promo afterwards as well when Nia Jax was like, "Ha ha ha, Charlotte and Alexa said I had no friends, but I got a friend right here." I can't remember what Lash Legend said now, but it felt like something you would have said back in, I don't know, like 1987. It was the most stereotypical line ever, but honestly, I hope she does do well. This is very, very good. Yes, shoosh, here we are, do we need to talk about this? But it was Giulia versus Chelsea Green for the US Championship, and do not forget that when Nick Aldis made this last week, he essentially did it because he was like, oh man, listen, I have other things to do, so fine, just go and have your little match, what do I care? Strike one. This then started and basically everybody just slapped everybody else. Like Chelsea slapped Giulia, so Giulia slapped her with her knee, when all of a sudden, Nia Jax slapped Chelsea, so because Alba Fyre was out there, she basically kicked Nia Jax right in the face. Now this caused some kind of confusion, nobody knew what was going on. So even though Giulia was perfectly in control, from nowhere, Chelsea Green hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up with her feet on the ropes, which makes it twice as devastating. And in what? 1 minute and 38 seconds, she got the 1, 2, 3. So yes, put a one on the dick board and put another one on there because I forgot to do that for the Charlotte match. And here is the deal. I do not mind Chelsea Green becoming the US champion because I think Chelsea Green is one of the most entertaining people the WWE has. So there is joy that we can take from that. But if you were going to do a match like this that goes less than 2 minutes and you're going to end it with a surprise roll-up, Giulia has to feel like a threat, has to be like, oh my gosh, what's she going to do here? But instead, Giulia has done the grand total of nothing with that title. Like everybody on the show was like, wow, Giulia is the longest reigning US champion in history. I mean, that doesn't mean that much anyway, because it's only been a year. But also, who has she fought? I can't even remember. The answer may be like one person, Zelina Vega, and that was so long ago, Zelina Vega had 2 names. You just need to make sure that a championship has been involved with deep angles and deep feuds so people can care about it. Because when you do it like this, you do just scratch your head. You're like, what is WWE doing with Giulia? Now, maybe they took the belt off her because they do want to raise it into the main event scene. I'd be down for that. At the same time, that would feel rushed as well. I still don't understand this connection with Nia Jax. All of it was pretty damn bizarre. I suppose it just made Giulia feel like, well, nothing. And she's not nothing. She's great. She's brilliant. We all know that. I don't understand why WWE can't just copy and paste what we did with Stephanie McMahon on Raw. I mean, WWE is always doing that between both the brands. They're like, we did it on Monday and we're going to do it on Friday as well. But here, I don't know. It's like Google mapping to your own house. When you're already at home, what did you actually achieve? I just think this is another angle that didn't work at all, even if WWE was going for a shock. And I'm always going to give Chelsea an up, right? I just think she's too entertaining, as we already talked about. But as for the rest of it, it is totally a down. Like, I was perplexed. And I love shenanigans and I love goofy wrestling, but that didn't really fit into either category. It was just like, why? Why did we do? What was the end game? And if Chelsea now doesn't get into some proper feuds, much like she didn't do first time, well, this poor US title belt, I'm going to send it a Christmas present, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I am going to give it a down. Once again, it could be my catchphrase for this episode. It just did not work. So does a co that made me laugh because he was talking to the MFTs, especially Talla. I am the tallest Tonga. He was like, you have to crush Fenix. That's right. You have to crush him. I think Solo could be the highlight of SmackDown. His mannerisms and the way he delivers stuff is just very, very funny. When the MFTs left the locker room and the White Six appeared, which basically means they've been stalking them. This is another feud we kind of need to speed up. Been doing a lot of nothing for a few weeks. This is when we got what I thought was the best part of the show, because Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair were getting medical treatment after they had been beaten up. And the doctors weren't doctors at all. It was Asuka and Kairi saying, but one of the crime counts, you can't do that. And Asuka just spat the mist right in their face and shouted some crazy stuff at them. She's only been back a few months, but Asuka may be the WWE Wrestler of the Year. It is getting it up. This was so good. I did get a bit of a bee in my bonnet. I was like, this could have been the angle, damn it. Just do that so we can just focus on the Kabuki Warriors versus Flair and Bliss. And also that could have come after Shawn and Alexa went to the ring and cut a big promo being like, man, you can't beat us. These titles, they mean everything. Rah, rah, we're friends now. There's a big hug. Instead, they say nothing and they're basically mute. Still, Asuka and Kairi, up. Then sure, I know it wasn't totally ideal for Fenix, but I cannot lie. Actually enjoyed him versus Talla. I am the tallest Tonga. I mean, it was just David versus Goliath, but I thought everybody went out of their way to at least make sure it was entertaining. We also had some smart baby faces because the Machine Guns and Shinsuke Nakamura ran out to fight away the rest of the MFTs, although they left Solo Sikoa, and thank goodness they did. Like, Fenix went crazy at the start here before Talla, I am the tallest Tonga, cut him off. Solo Sikoa was so damn happy. He was just on the outside doing that dance. So I'm rubber stamping it. Solo Sikoa, MVP of SmackDown. Poor Fenix as well got totally crushed on the ring apron and hurled into Barry Barricade, so he was getting a beating. But every single time he did fight back, well, we can do more with Fenix, right? I think we're going to have to take our time and be patient. But he's a very, very good wrestler. And here, even when he was fighting from underneath, well, he's just got the secret sauce. He did get swatted away like a fly at one point, though came back with a crossbody for a 1-2. But essentially, he tried too much flippy-dippy-doo-dah. Talla got bored, he went, screw this. He gave him the choke slam, and he pinned him for the 1-2-3. So Sikoa was then like, do it again, when Sami Zayn made the save with a chair. So surely that now means he's in trouble with Nick Aldis? I do not know. But Solo couldn't give a damn. He just walked away, and again, no fear on that guy's face, he's got it. So I think the real crux of all of this was that beforehand, it's exactly what I expected. So if you then give me my expectations, I can't be too mad at it. I am going to give it an up. Like, nothing to write home about here. You don't need to see this. But in terms of doing what we had to do, yeah, I am giving it an up again. I just love Solo Sikoa so much. He's my fave. Miz then cut a big old promo saying, damn right, I'm in the John Cena tournament, and last week I proved what I was made of. Like, didn't you just hit a skull-crushing finale onto Kamala Hayes? I mean, it's not that big of a deal. When he also mentioned that he should be John Cena's final opponent because he beat him at WrestleMania. That was 14 years ago, dude. I think you need to get over it. Well, in many ways, if you are a nerd like me, we essentially had an AEW match, or at least somewhat of a classic AEW match, or a memorable one, on SmackDown, because our main event was indeed Aleister Black with a new first name, taking on Cody Rhodes. Now he went no grappling to begin with until Cody kind of went for all of his moves, as the Black must have been watching tape because he kept dodging them, and any time he could whack this poor dude in the face, that's exactly what he did. He really did take him apart as well until eventually Cody could hit the disaster kick when he went for the crossroads, but once again, I was like, look how flexible I am, and he booted him in the head when they both fell on the floor. Now, this was around about 10 minutes in when Drew McIntyre decided I have had enough, and he didn't go after Cody, and he didn't go after Aleister Black, and he's so mad at the referee, who he thinks screwed him at Saturday's main event. He Claymore kicked him right in the face. It made me laugh out loud. I don't even know why. It's like he was so enraged, he just had to do whatever the flub, and all of a sudden, him and Cody started to fight. Of course, Aleister Black then snuck in and took over, which is when Damian Priest came out, because he's still feuding with Aleister Black, and we had a big old brawl, when Nick Aldis appeared, and he was like, you know what, Drew, I am suspending you, you're off TV. I was like, I swear, this is the 32nd time that Drew McIntyre's been suspended. Now, this is absolutely good for Damian Priest because he needs something like this because he has been cooled down a little bit in 2025. And I would assume that Aldis has suspended Drew McIntyre because I think Drew is about to go film the new Highlander movie. But let's take that and throw it out the window because that is real life. It also absolutely destroyed me because I was like, man, does that mean Drew McIntyre is not in the John Cena tournament? That is so frustrating. And listen, my predictions mean nothing, but I created this world where you could have done Gunther versus Drew in the final, and that way the jeopardy in that match would have been massive. I mean, Drew could be the guy, Gunther could be the guy, and even if Drew McIntyre lost again there, surely we could have come up with something creative, because there's 4 rounds in the John Cena tournament, so it would mean Drew would have had 3 old wins, and all of a sudden he would have had his momentum back. It also kind of made me roll my eyes for a few reasons. One, I suppose now we have to do another match between Cody Rhodes and Drew, and if Drew doesn't win the title there, I'm going to fall into a hole. But also, 2, it was another big old show from WWE that ended in no contest. This was funny, because Drew McIntyre took out the referee. And while the work between Aleister Black and Cody was very good, I actually found myself disappointed at the end of this SmackDown, because again, I was like, man, we didn't get a winner, we didn't get a loser. I suppose that Cody and Aleister can continue on feuding, but then I guess we're going to get some kind of tag team match with Damian Priest. It just kind of feels so directionless. And you have Cody, who is the super duper mega WWE champion, because obviously WWE sort of sees that belt above the other one. And the moment, he's essentially feudless or stuck in a feud with Drew McIntyre until the end of time. So just remember that whatever work Aleister and Cody did do in the ring, it was overshadowed by everything else. And even though Cody at the start of the show made it clear I want to start something new, well, we ended in the most, well, traditional is not the right word, but stereotypical fashion that SmackDown possibly could have come up with. I mean, an elephant could have come out and challenged Cody Rhodes, which is totally bizarre, but at least it would have been different. I just felt like it's the last thing they needed at the moment. I presume that Drew McIntyre will be back before Survivor Series, or even then I'm sure him and Cody would be in the War Games, but who the flub knows. But I am going to give it a down. Like, when you end SmackDown, you shouldn't feel like, man, I feel a little bit down, ironically, about all this. You want to feel jazzed, and you want to be excited about next week. And I'll still watch, because I am that guy, but but I wouldn't say that I was overly enthused. Down. It also means we rarely do this when we get to the end of this week's episode of SmackDown. Am I going to give it a down overall? The thumb is like here. So it's not thumb middle. It's like basically pointing towards the floor. Like if you came into my house right now, I'd be like, ooh, how did you break in? But you asked me, should I watch this? I'd be like, no. I mean, the Ilja match you could watch, but again, those matches have been such high quality. If you miss one, it's not going to be the end of the world. There was just nothing here to get excited about. And the Chelsea Green Giulia stuff, well, yeah, we already talked about it. That completely missed the mark. But it doesn't matter, because it's just professional wrestling, which is the most important of the least important things. And if you had a good time, high five, my dude, my man, my girl, my woman, my bro, my whatever. Keep coming up with words, I've run out with them. That's what it's all about. As long as you are sports entertained, it doesn't matter what me or anybody else thinks. But nope, I didn't like it. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs from Monday Night Raw, which I did actually quite like this week. But otherwise, there is no pay-per-view this weekend, so have a lovely old time. See you next week.